All right, today we're going to do a demonstration video on how to measure ripple and make sure that you're doing it right on a battery bank system. So what we have constructed here in this monstrosity is 4 batteries in series. They're just fire alarm batteries. That's not really a crucial part of the test. And then the voltage of those batteries is measured right here on this meter. And so right now, with no charger, it's at 51.48 volts. It's dropping a little bit because we just had the charger on a second ago. We're going to use this Variac, this variable voltage supply, as a charger. And I'll flip it on. You can see battery voltage goes up just a little bit. And you can see that we also have ripple current measured in series. So this is the actual live ripple voltage. This is measured directly in series with it. And then we're going to test clamp-on methods measuring ripple. So there are, you could usually, when you buy a battery tester like this Byte 3 right here, they would have a CT that comes with it and you can measure it. You could also use a CT, like a clamp-on CT, to measure this, but you have to make sure that you know your equipment properly. So we have 3 different CTs here, and the 2 of them are not, there's this FLIR one goes directly to its own meter. And then you have these 2 over here that are, we can only plug in one at a time. So right now you've got the one plugged in and it's showing what is it, 60 milliamps, and that's this one right here. And then this one is not plugged in yet, but we'll get there in a second. This one right here though is double wrapped. So anything that it meters is going to be twice as high. So right now we're sitting at around 95, almost 100 milliamps of ripple, and we're sitting at double right now. So we're pretty much spot on with that. But if you go down on the this is the actual ripple, and I'll zoom out so you can see battery voltage at the same time on the left. We're going to go down to around 50 milliamps, and so that's your actual ripple voltage on the battery bank right there. About 50 milliamps. The charger level's gone down a little bit, but you see now this is still relatively about the same with a double wrap. I did a triple wrap and it gets even more accurate, obviously. But if you look, this is saying 53 milliamps, and that's this clamp, but we're only reading about 30 milliamps. And so I'm going to pull back a little bit and show you that even though the FLIR is pretty accurate most of the time, especially on the low ranges, it's not very accurate when you get down to around 30 milliamps of ripple. So it shows absolutely 0. It only really starts to register about 0.1. 0.1 through the CT. So if it's a double wrap, that's 50 milliamps. If it's a triple wrap, that's 33 milliamps that it can meter. And it's not very accurate. But these clamp-ons right here, this is a 400 and this is a 200 amp. And these clamp-ons don't measure very accurate at all. And they're just a single pass-through. So we're at about 100 milliamps again, and this is not reading. It's reading essentially the same. But if I unplug it, it'll say the same thing. 200 milliamps right there, and we're just starting to meter a little bit, even though it's definitely off. So we'll swap to the other clamp right now. And it says 0.7, 0.8, 0.9. Looks like it's starting to stabilize, and we're still at 150 over there. So it takes a little bit to stabilize on that one. I don't know if it's because of magnetism on the CT. I'm going to move this up to get a little bit better shot. So it's about accurate right there. If you go back down to 80, it starts to fall. But it's still not, it's not nearly as quick or responsive, and it could lead you to false measurements. So know your equipment. If you're trying to measure a very small, milliamp, like 100 milliamps, which is 0.1 amps, don't use a 0 to 400 CT. It's pretty much well outside the range. So that's it.